We had the opportunity to sit down with Slowey to talk about the new reality show Stylista, a show often compared to The Devil Wears Prada.
Well, I think there's the comparison, and it's an obvious one, between the Stylista and The Devil Wears Prada. Well, one, because you've got, you know, the Cruella de Vil boss character, and then all the assistants vying for her attention and approval. I think a lot of people haven't necessarily seen many movies or any, you know, there's not been much written about the fashion industry, so I think it's easy to just, you know, leap towards that comparison. It's a bit of a caricature, absolutely. I actually have never seen the show. I tried to watch it with my mother, but she was just like, turn it off, I don't get it. And I'm like, but that's my job, that's my life. And she's like, I don't care, you know, change the channel. And I never went back to watch it, but I hear Meryl Streep actually gives a very compelling performance. I would be so lucky to have the comparison to her. Be for the good reasons and not the bad, but we'll see.
While every contestant is desperate to please Slowey, there is one thing they must avoid at all costs.
My biggest disappointment, I suppose, would be, you know, if somebody actually gave up their dream. It is a very tough industry. It's not a particularly kind one, although it's getting nicer and nicer, but, you know, it's highly competitive, and you really do need a great deal of savvy and willpower to survive. But I don't think you should ever give up, you know, compromise your character. So, you know, I hope that doesn't happen, but then of course probably that's what everybody's tuning in for, so we'll see.
There are two challenges in every episode, and as crazy as they may seem, they all help prepare the contestants for the fashion world.
Well, there's two challenges in each episode. One's a personal assistant challenge and one's an editorial challenge. And to function as an assistant, you oftentimes do find, as I did for many, many years when I was an assistant, that you're doing things that you never thought you would do. Like, you know, my first day on the job, I had to like fill 32 goldfish bowls with goldfish and transport them to a party without killing any of them. I thought, okay, this is what I have my bachelor's degree in history for. But it actually does give you an opportunity to figure out, you know, how the city works, how to intuit a person's desires, i.e. the boss. You know, you always want to be one step ahead when you're the assistant, and hopefully not making missteps. So a lot of the personal assistant tasks do give them an opportunity to demonstrate a little bit of their taste and savvy and intuition. The editorial challenges obviously are where they're learning how a magazine works, and it's really like a mini graduate school for them. You know, in 28 days, they learn more about magazine editing than, you know, I did in 5 years. So we're asking them to do things that actually only senior editors do at times. You know, produce major shoots, you know, deal with celebrities. So, you know, I think all of them would probably say they learned a lot and are much better prepared to work in the industry than they were before the show. And I think that's the best thing about the show.
So the big question is, what does it take to become a junior editor?
To be a junior editor at Elle obviously takes a lot of smarts, and you know, to have taste helps, but I think it's really more about a willingness to work very, very hard and learn and not complain, and, you know, not have an attitude and not try to be manipulative, and be a team player, and by all means don't try to flatter your way to the top, because chances are, if we're not smarter, we're more experienced, and those kind of like tricky games don't really get you anywhere. You know, there's too much work to be done, and if you're playing around, that means you don't have enough to do. So, you know, stick your nose to the grindstone. That would be my advice.
Do you think any of the remaining contestants has what it takes? Be sure to keep watching every Wednesday night at 9/8 Central. I'm Jessica Holmes.